Urban intensification. To start off, you must be wondering what urban intensification or urban sprawl even is. Urban intensification is when you develop on already developed land, meaning the land has already been built on, before or undeveloped land at a higher density, meaning using more apartments and condos for residential purposes. To give you a real life picture of what this looks like, we could refer to Vancouver, British Columbia, which has more vertical buildings than horizontal buildings. The consequences of urban intensification. Since we now know what urban intensification is, we can discuss the possible consequences of urban sprawl in a city, which would be a higher dense overcrowded city with a higher population. Well, how do we know that this would be the outcome of urban intensification? Well, our own vision plan of Brampton 2040 has been released, which is a vision plan of urban intensification in Brampton over the next 22 years. In the image from the Brampton 2040, it shows us the evidence of the population in Brampton increasing due to high density buildings and urban intensification. More specifically, based on the map of Brampton by 2040, Brampton East, which is Castlemore Road and Gore Road, would have an increase in population by 25,000. As for Brampton in general, the population was 615,000 in 2016, and the population will go up by 385,000 by 2040. Furthermore, the population in Brampton 2040 and after 2040, the population will be 100,000 plus. This information was provided by the Brampton 2040 Vision Plan, which can be easily accessed on the City of Brampton website. What does sustainability mean in each unit? Well, we know the overall vague definition of sustainable and being sustainable, but there was a different meaning of sustainability in every unit of the geography course. Let's talk about sustainability in each unit in depth. To understand what sustainability meant in each unit, we would have to understand what the unit was focused on. The physical and geography climate unit focused on climate change. Climate change is caused by fossil fuels and the amount of greenhouse gas we release into the atmosphere and global warming, which is caused by cars and automobiles. Air pollution. Since this unit focuses on climate change, which is caused by air pollution and many other things, sustainability in this unit would focus on preventing climate change, and to stop climate change, we'd have to stop burning fossil fuels and decrease the use of the automobile. So therefore, sustainability would mean finding ways to produce energy or gas without the burning of fossil fuels, and it would also mean finding ways to get around without using cars as much. The second unit we covered in geography was Managing Resources unit. The Managing Resources unit mainly focused on natural resources such as non-renewable resources and renewable resources. Non-renewable resources are resources that cannot be replenished once they are completely finished. Renewable resources are resources that can be replenished within a human generation if managed properly. In the Managing Resources unit, we learned about how we could manage our resources or replace our non-renewable resources with renewable resources. In the Managing Resources unit, sustainability means finding ways to manage our resources, specifically our non-renewable resources. A real-life example of sustainability in the Managing Resources unit is instead of using non-renewable energy sources, is using solar power, wind power, or any other type of power source that can be powered by Mother Nature. The third unit we covered in geography was the Changing Populations unit. In the Changing Populations unit, we learned about population distribution and immigration. A lesson learned in the Changing Populations unit was the cities or areas that had larger densities or more people were likely to use up most of the resources. Sustainability in the Changing Populations unit would mean using up the resources we have wisely so there would be enough resources for future generations and their survival. As if we were to use all of the resources, there wouldn't be any left for future generations. The Livable Communities unit focused on the 4 different types of land use: residential, institutional, industrial, and recreational. Sustainability in the Living Communities unit would mean choosing the right area and space to invest for these different type of land use, and the land that would reap the most economic benefits for this type of land use. Also, it would mean finding ways to reserve the agricultural land and farmland while also making space for recreational, residential, institutional, and industrial land. How does my sustainability initiative, urban intensification, interconnect with each unit? As the meaning of sustainability changes in each unit, so does the way urban intensification connects with each unit. Let's now talk about how urban intensification connects in each unit of the geography unit. Urban intensification connects to the physical geography and climate unit, as since urban intensification means developing in an already developed area or an undeveloped area at a higher density in an intensified neighborhood, everything would be more close together, which would encourage people to use other ways of transit instead of cars, such as public transit, bicycling, and cycling. If people were to use these other ways of transit, it would automatically decline the use of automobile, which would reduce the amount of car pollution, carbon dioxide, and greenhouse gases released into the environment, which would also help prevent climate change. A real-life example of a Canadian city that has become walkable because of intensification is Vancouver, Canada. When talking about the managing resources unit, urban intensification connects to this unit as if we were to develop on previously developed land or undeveloped land at a lower density, which would mean semi-detached homes and detached homes. We wouldn't have enough space and end up losing all agricultural farmland and the 13% of Canada's forest area we still have. This would become a problem in the future as there wouldn't be enough space to build large homes to fit future generations. Urban intensification is the direct solution to this problem, as urban intensification is developed using high-density buildings, which would hold many more families than a single detached family home could. For example, you have 2 cans of tomato soup. One has 10 liters of tomato soup, and the other has 100 liters of tomato soup. The 10 liter of tomato soup represents the average single home, and the 100 liter of tomato soup represents a higher density building, such as in a condominium or an apartment building. If we were to divide 100 by 10, we would get 10. Meaning if I needed 100 liters of tomato soup, I would need 10 cans of the 10-liter can of tomato soup, but only one of the 100-liter can of tomato soup. That's a comparison of an average single-family home in an apartment building. We would be able to fit a large amount of people in one apartment building. We would need to build so many single-family homes for the same amount of people. Urban intensification connects to a changing populations unit as the changing populations unit focuses on population density and is proved before in areas such as Vancouver, British Columbia, concluding that areas that are affected by urban intensification are likely to have a more higher population density. When talking about the livable communities unit, urban intensification connects to livable communities unit as urban intensification would mean developing on previously developed area, meaning they would know how much income they have received from the area based on if the area was used for industrial, institutional, recreational, or residential land use. Urban intensification also connects to livable communities unit as a different type of land use would be put close together. We'd be able to reserve more agriculture and farmland. We would also be able to reserve the 13% forest area we have left in Canada.